Good evening, everyone. Welcome aboard. Uh, Told you the flight might be delayed. Got delayed quite heavily today, folks, but we're going to get it in. All intentions were to get this thing rolling around the 9 a.m. time frame this morning. However, I misinterpreted what the CEO, my wife, told me for an event we were going to. Got the times all discombobulated, and that's why we were put on uh we put on hold. And as Hawker, welcome in, Hawker. I'm glad to have you aboard. um so aptly says it's 9 a.m. somewhere in the world, so we'll just go with that. I'm sure it is somewhere over in the Far East. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, we'll just go with it. So thanks for the uplift there, Hawker. But anyway, so I got that all screwed up. That's why we're running late. Also, as to many chagrin, we will not be on VATSIM. Well, you can kind of see the weather here. Bit frightful. As with most New York scenery, so are frame rates. They're abysmal with this storm system. So put me on VATSIM, and I got a feeling it's a recipe for we're going to get not booted by VATSIM, but because we're below the frame rates. So, and that's respectful to the approach, the tower, I believe, that's up here, and conversely down at Reagan. So we're going to hang tight, play nice, and not go up and down as one user did earlier Monday in Copenhagen. All right. Happy Memorial Day. It's kind of hard to say that on a day like this, folks. Um, Memorial Day, I think, is only a U.S. holiday today. Um, Not 100% sure, uh, but we remember our fallen soldiers. We remember the heroes of our military. We also remember those who've fallen and gone ahead of us in our families. Now, not necessarily did they serve in the army, but this is that day we remember, a day of remembrance. But mostly we remember those sacrifices, both of our living soldiers and those who have passed on. The sacrifice they made every day in this when they were here. And I am also going to say I also want to thank and let people realize it's also the families of those service people. We need to remember, keep in our hearts, keep in our prayers, folks. It's not easy. I was in that part of the equation before I became a service member. So I know firsthand what it's like to be one, an Air Force brat, two, part of an Air Force family and community. So my hat's off to you all. Thank you for those sacrifices all of you made. I know, like a lot of people like me, have a hard time taking that thanks because, we can't, well, I didn't go into battle, but they came home. And the true heroes, the true uh, veterans, if you will, they unfortunately didn't make it home. But we all are. So, anyway, Memorial Day is a testament to us all. And that is today's flight, folks. Today we are going to fly from New York City right on down to Ronald Reagan National, right there in Arlington, right by the Pentagon, and not far, if I remember right, when we visited it, Arlington Cemetery is not far away. Pentagon's like almost literally across the street. But matter of fact, our approach today will fly right by it. All right, so let's get into this thing they call ZIBO, folks. And yeah, you can see the runways. They're all wrong, folks. I really just don't get sometimes some brief. Yeah, tell it one thing, it does another. Yeah, you know. So we're gonna get going here. All right. Thank you all again for taking a little time out on this Memorial Day weekend. I know we're getting to the tail end here of daylight hours in the U.S., but thank you again for taking time out. Summer is the other big thing that comes with Memorial Day, the unofficial start of summer. The official is next month on the solstice. But today is the unofficial. Like I said yesterday, swimming pools open, people's holidays. I love that term from the Europeans. Holiday starts. Vacations, folks, in the U.S., if you don't know what that means. If not, learn it. All right. So let's get in here. Let me get rid of that. And let's pull Sim Toolkit up and let's get this thing ready to rumble, shall we? All right, here comes Sim Toolkit. Why it did that, I have no idea. Hang on, let me just check something real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought I told it to do. Oh well, it's like everything today, it is not wanting to listen. All right, so as you see, Sim Toolkit, we're flying from LaGuardia, otherwise known as the La Garbage Can, to DCA, one of the funnest, if that's a word, funnest approaches out there. The river's arrival, and it's done a couple of ways. One, you can fly it visually. It may not be very comparable today. Two, you can fly it RNAV. There is no ILS for this one, folks. It's strictly RNAV, RNIP approaching. So you're basically, here's the takeaway of the Rivers slash LDA Zulu, which will fly today. You're following the Potomac River into the area. You got to stay away from the city on the left side, stay away from the Pentagon on the right side. But at the bridges, turn so that you're lined up for the runway to touch down. See, I told you it's fun. Y'all ought to try it. One other side note as you look here at Sim Toolkit, all of this green, yellow, blue that's over the New York City area, that was here yesterday at about this time because we lost power at this time till about 9 o'clock. So for about 3 hours we were out of power. There's some people, there were some very small tornadoes that touched down, possibly one a little into the EF2 range west of us. But overall, folks, this storm is what's on the East Coast now. Those storms regenerate. I didn't follow it, so I don't know if they're calling it any names or not, but it's now in the New York City area, stretching down towards our arrival point, DC. So we're going to have some fun with it, folks. We're going to blast out of the garbage can down to Ronald Reagan National Airport. All right, so for today, 30,360 pounds of payload. They're throwing 132 peeps at us to head back to DC to get to work. All right, now the garbage can tells us we're taking off on 22. We're taking off on 13, folks. And then we're landing at Reagan on 19. So all of this is wrong, and oh well. But we are flying the BIGGY Q75 to MXE, grab the clipper, and right into the LDA slash Rivers approach. Dispatch has graciously allowed us to 32,000 feet with a cost index of 48. So pretty good flight, folks. The ground crew is going to uplift 12,700 pounds of fuel, and ought to be a fun flight nonetheless. Wish we could do it online, but with the way frame rates are, folks, I'm just not playing the game. Okay, here in good old LaGuardia, we are right at minimums, broken at 800. Actually, I think we could go a little lower. Broke in 3,000. Overcast 12,000. 2970, and it's 21 degrees outside, folks. Winds are 160, southeasterly at 13. So, ought to be a great departure. Down in, oh, here's the ATIS, by the way. This is provided by BatSim. This is standby just a few minutes old. 2251, about 10-15 minutes old. 170 at 13, 5 miles, light rain, drizzle. Again, oh, now they got it scattered at 800, which is even better, but we're okay if it was at broken 800. The difference here is the ceiling just went up to 1,000 feet. So even most instrument-rated pilots could come in here on this. Now, you drop it below 800, then we got to start, playing the game of where exactly is the ceiling? Is there an RVR out there and all of that good stuff? Get it so we're legal. And right now, we're legal. So they're saying 2-2 for departure, 3 or arrivals, 3-3 for departure. And that's a standard thing. One of the runways arrives, one of them takes off. Down at Reagan it is an international airport. Well, I think it still is. I'm not 100% sure. Again, winds 180 at 12. Hence why we're coming in on 19. 10 miles visibility, scattered at 2,600. Cool. We should be able to do the visual. Broken at 34. Still should. So visibility and ceilings are good. However, lightning, distant CB, distant northwest, northwest, moving east. Timing is going to be critical here. Arrivals, expect the Rivers Visual 19 or the LDZ. Landing, departing 1915. Multiple approach is being conducted. Use caution, RNIP approach on request. So everything's looking good for us. All right, the weather might be frightful, but we're going to make it even more frightful. All right, we're not going on VATSIM. So there you have it, folks. Pretty nasty departure, potentially a nasty arrival. Here, let me see if I can. This is the line they're talking about. Hopefully, we sneak in before it. All right, so that gets us ready to go. We're in ZIBO, and we're going to get airside services going. Again, let's get the OFP. That may or may not sound right. Hang on a second, folks. Oh, it is 132. Estimated zero fuel weight today, 122,254 on the screen. So we're looking good, folks. We're always looking good. Welcome to Flying with Mike. And there's our 12,700 pounds. So for here, all you do is click activate, and there comes the jetway, and they begin doing the work behind us. So you can hear it. We're going to turn up some volume. Hopefully, if it gets too loud, we'll turn it down. All right, so let's get after the checklist here because we're on the clock, and here we go. Okay, batteries on, standby power's on, switches in ground, fuel pumps off, trim air's on, isolation valve open. Okay, and they're beginning to fuel us. Lights are on, seatbelt sign is off, smoking light lit, and let's go top side. Okay, oxygen looks good. Okay, these are the two hardest ones to hear, folks, but they're the most important. You want to know when your plane's stalling really before the stick shaker goes off. All right, oxygen's closed. Reverser lights out, EEC's on, landing gear 3 down, and we're good. All right, boom, boom. Always turn your display selector to HDG status. That'll tell you how many minutes to alignment. And there. Okay, coming down. Okay. All looks good. Lights are up. All right, hydraulics, A and B electrics are off. 32, we'll keep 33. I think we're 13 feet. 14, I was close. And this is a simple decide if you want to round up, round down. I'm going to round down. All right, and today is an odd number. And the lights are set. Okay, down to here. Hang on. All the bulbs are working. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that off. Okay, next page.
Ground flight deck fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Okay. All right, so we've got a lot of stuff in the works here. We're now gonna make sure things are lined up here. So we got, okay, again, the switches on ground power, cabin, and IFE are set to on, cooling, normal. Okay. Emergency lights armed, anti-collision lights off, and the wing lights currently are off, and window heat on. All right, we've got our IRS in, probe heats off, anti-ice off, trim air's on, isolation valve open, recirculating valves auto, and engine bleeds on. Let's go ahead and get that APU back on. Boy, Takes a while for that APU to crank up. Used to be already going up. I wonder if that's a real world change there, because I do remember it taking some time back in the day with the 737s at the airport to get that APU running. And if you've been watching this, folks, we've had our cargo doors open. Now we got the main door open. Once the blue light lights here, we'll turn on the generators, turn the bleed on, and then continue on. Hey, APU gen, bleed, and we're set to go. We can actually come off ground power now. However, let's see where we are. We're 14% loaded, 100% in the cargo range, 99% of our fuel. We're good to go there. Let's continue on. All right, we need to get our route and all in here now. All right, this gets to be a little fun, so bear with me here. I always will make sure my route is right, no matter how long it takes. Okay, so what we got to do here first, folks, click request. Eventually it's going to tell us load, and then we'll get a couple of messages down here. Uplink ready, load, uplink loading, activate, execute, clear, clear. Now it has loaded our route, our flight plan per what's in SimBrief. Runway change will be needed. We'll do that first. Okay, so we're going to actually use runway 13 and no departure. Okay, and then with the execute, we come back to route. And next page should say we've got a discontinuity. Okay, clear it out, even though the real flight today took off and looped north to come down. I could kind of see that keeps you away from JFK. And then you can come down with them on the Canarsie departure. I could see that. So that's what we'll do too instead of one of the others. The Goldman would have been the closest. Okay, let's get our current weather. All right, there we go. 2251. We're 160 at 13, 5 miles, light rain drizzle. Same thing we read off before. All right, so let's go and see just how much we can see. Perfect. All right, what I'll be doing is clicking the line select key next to step. We'll watch it up here. All right, there's BIGGY. Okay, so MXE is the start. So let me just do a quick gander here. BIGGY, Copes, MXE. And since I'm not 100% all of them are showing, we'll go to the Clipper 3 chart. We know they are here. So MXE, Nuggy is where we're centered, Troy's. Belay, Trish, Clipper, Baltimore. Okay. Down to I's. All right. Now, this is where a lot of the LDAs may or may not start. So, departure, arrival, hang on. LDA Y, LDA, we're doing the Zulu, Bergie, Clipper, MXE. Perfect. All right. So again, we're having a hard time seeing it. So Clipper is going to run Edward, Megs, Nays. You can see it over there, how it's working. Bergie's here. Now, technically, the LDA Zulu has, nope, Bergie is as far. It's the Y that actually goes further. We're going to just fly the Zulu. So, somewhere in here about Megs, we're going to make our turn for Fergie. We're going to fly this thing, folks. It's pretty much made for hand flying. But Fergie, Hadel, Bessie, you can watch it over here on the chart. You can kind of see it here. We're going to step it. Okay, so Fergie, Hadel, Bessie, Weevupu, Zakzeb, and then the runway. Missed approach here is out to Baden, and that's where we'll hold. Okay, and that'll hold will be at 3,000 feet. All right, so giving you again a good look here. We'll come in, like I said, around Megs or just past it. We'll make our turn, direct Fergie, and then fly it as best we can. The big thing is your descents that you got to stair step it down. If you didn't notice, I'll show you. Down here, Fergie at 3, Hadel 23. Make these altitudes, folks, because the one that counts, there's a, I don't know if it shows here, but right about here is a bridge. You're gonna pass it and then immediately begin a nice turn for the runway. So you're gonna see, we'll get the minimums up for it. 700 feet at 1 mile. Oh, wait, we're down here at 2 miles. So very critical that we can see the runway. All right, so here we go. And today I'm not going to use Top Cat, so just so you know. As much as I'd like to fire it up, just I want to get this going, so we'll use whatever they give us. All right, so with this, let's go back to the route page. Perf, request. And all we're going to do is load it, folks. Don't know why there's not an activate on this page. Okay, and our reserve. 3.6.7. Okay. And what this does, folks, is gives us enough fuel to make our alternate, which is Philadelphia. Otherwise, is my affectionate name for it, Philadelphia. Ah, I just did it again. Hang on, folks. Bear with me. All right, so there you have it, folks. Our transition's 18,000. I know that's very hard to read. Meant to click N1 limits. Wet runway. TO1. Climb 2. We'll climb 1. Takeoff. Set our CG next page. One, three, four. Okay, runway wind. Okay, so we're calling it as of 36 minutes ago 180 at 12. No, we're not. Calling it 160 at 13, 37 minutes ago. Okay. We're not doing a select takeoff, so we'll do flaps 5. 126, 133, all looks good. And we're just going to go with it, folks. And again, they're showing us coming off on a right-hand turn. We're going to do a left-hand come around and shoot that way. Okay. And as you can see, well, you can't see, but we're parked. I believe this is the old U.S. Airways area that Delta now has. Part of all of the arrangements that went into the acquisition of American Airlines. And our altimeter 2970. Okay. Let's see. We got all of our stuff in here. Let's finalize this plan out. Flight directors. Both on. Auto throttle is still off. Speed 143. We'll make it 153. We're not under them, so we're going up to 32,000 immediately. Runway heading, what did we say? 134. All right, we're ready to go, folks. Okay, seatbelts are on. And all right, so okay, minimums for today. Set them to 400. on the radio side. Okay, altitude set, minimum set, altimeter set, set our fuel flow, thrust levers. Okay. Speed brakes down, flaps show 0 and up here on the gauge. And the parking brake is set, and the thrust levers or fuel levers cut off. And folks, we are ready to go. Put this one legs. And let's take a look outside before we do better pushback. All right, so basically, folks, we're going to push it back and pull up to, could go to 12. We'll go to 12B. We'll just go back here. He'll release us and we'll go out. Okay, so let's do it.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Okay, to start the engines, folks, first off, let's get that yaw damper on. Fuel pumps on. Hydraulic system B can be turned on. PAC's gonna have to be turned off. Air pressure. Here comes the pushback. Let me get over here first.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
It's a great pleasure to have you on board with us today. If you have any requests that will make your trip a little bit more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask one of your crew members. Again, welcome aboard.
All right, we're getting hooked up and should be ready to go here in a moment. Beacons on. Now, to start this aircraft, yes, you can use the high pressure to get one of them going, cross bleed over, or start up like we're going to be, just like normal.
Release parking brake.
So packs have to be off, fuel should be on, and then you're ready to go. Brakes off.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Now, those of you from Airbus world, folks, like I like to fly, all we got to do is turn the packs off. That all happens automatically on an Airbus. So here we go. We've got the packs off. I'm going to go ahead and start engine 1. At 17% to 25% N2, you can bring your fuel lever up to idle. And then once the proper pressures and all in the engine occur, they get light off, which we have right now. Around 50, the start valve closes, and then the engine will wind all the way out. But again, the reason we're not on VATSIM, folks, it's New York City weather, and it's afternoon, evening here. Actually, it's evening. A lot of traffic. All right, let's do Southwest style. Get the other engine turning. 17 to 25%. We'll move the fuel lever up to idle. Fuel lever idle. And light off. There we go. Fuel flow. EGT's burning up.
Complete. Set parking brake.
Brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Hey. Even though we're not on, I'm going to go ahead, click us over to TARA, just so I don't get out of the habit. And I almost got in trouble. Start the flight. All right, and we're going to taxi out, folks. At 11, we're going to brake to 11A, get on Alpha, follow it all the way to 13 for departure. All right, engines are stable. Let's go.
Always disconnected. Unbike Aspen has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Thanks for flying with Mike. Better push back. And by the way, that's a free utility in X-Plane. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and run with engine ice in these storms just to be safe. And we are ready to go. We said flaps 5. Wait a minute, we got a warning. What do we got? Oh, anti-ice. Yeah, it doesn't like it, folks, when we're at this temperature. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Okay, let me get this one set real quick. Terrain. Now, let's see how the weather lights up. All right, here we go, folks. Flaps was 5. You're not sure? It's right there, folks. Trim 5.75. Welcome to the world of Let's Guess in Boeing, where Airbus and company Boeing would buy, McDonnell Douglas, tells you the number you're at. Okay, auto brake to RTO, start switches to continues. EPU off. And landing lights, ATC, heading bug set, RNAV, VNAV we'll get. Let's, for now, do a quick boy, are you guys thinking that aileron moves kind of slow? That's kind of cool. I am going to check that all hydraulics are on. You can see that sluggishness, folks. That's what's telling you that it's a smart move not to be on ATC. Somehow we missed 11. That's okay. We made it. be a fun arrival, folks. I don't think I've shot this approach in dark. So, it's not one of my favorite times to fly the planes and stream because you won't be able to see the plane at night. And folks, this is just a beautiful livery that Mac Air, Mac Millennium, Captain Mac put together. And folks, hope you look into Millennium Aviation. A really great bunch of people. Been with them, oh my gosh, I think 5 to 7 years, something like that, and love every minute of it. Actually started participating in their destination of the month, which is actually an interesting flight. They pick a place somewhere out there in the world, and we fly to it. Now, is it a group flight? No. We all take a month and we all work our way there. We could come from where we last left off, or we could pick our own routing. But who knows what June will hold. But yeah, they've got the severe weather we had here in St. Louis yesterday. We had a lot of hail. Folks, as soon as I shut the sim down, um, we were under a tornado warning as we taxied in and were doing the replays. Now, granted, that storm was still probably 30 miles away, so I wasn't worried about any of that. Where my worries comes in, folks, was the hail and the wind. I hope I chose correctly. And anyway, we had a lot of wind. A lot of places had a lot of hail. I know, the hail, you say. Um, Thankfully, no damage here. Um, so I know. So like I said, some small tornadoes did touch down in and around us, but nothing right here. So that's what you're seeing out your window here in New York City is those storms from yesterday, or some semblance of them. All right, so we're going to head out here to Gulf and head on down to Papa for the runway. All right, final checks. Okay. Go ahead, hold short. Okay, so we need to bring that up. We also need to go click and click. All right, may not because we're not anywhere in a semblance of a turn to them. Heading lower cam. All right, we're ready for takeoff. I'm kind of shocked we're not seeing any rain. Clear for takeoff. Flaps 5, brakes set. Bet you couldn't tell the runway's wet. Okay, we're just about there. I don't really know in relation to the city how we're doing. Okay, flaps are up. And we're just going to get on the other side of the river, and then we'll make our turn towards uh, Biggie. Matter of fact, we can do that now. All right, we are now direct. Let's take a look outside. Just going over Teterboro. In and out of the clouds. Let's go ahead and get these wipers turned off. They're pretty much of no use up here. As we go into warp speed. All right, we're on our way, folks. Hope you enjoyed the departure, and hope you all enjoy the flight down to Reagan. Been a pleasure, folks. We're getting on top again. Hopefully, this looks like we might actually be on top, and we're headed for DC. Used to be handled by companies like U.S. Air Shuttle. Actually, it's just nothing more than just a specific route. DC, Philly, LaGuardia, Boston all flew under them. And they just shuttled people from those three big ones. Folks, there was a lot of stuff going on. You could get there very quickly here. I believe very economically. Don't quote me on that, but with dedicated aircraft to the shuttle, you're pretty, good to be there on time. All right, so we're on our way. Hope you all enjoyed. We're coming up to transition level. We'll go to 22.8. I'm sorry, correction. 29.92. Radios don't get affected by that. If you are flying on VATSIM in uncontrolled airspace, meaning no VATSIM controllers, at approach, center, tower, ground, ground won't be able to help you on approach, but there is a new thing they've been testing since beginning of this month, back in March, can't remember, called CTAF. It's a real world thing, folks. It's Common Traffic Advisory Frequency. We talked about it at length last flight, and basically what you do in your whatever you use to connect the VATSIM, in the chat box type .ctaf, that's Charlie Tango Alpha Fox, space, and then the four character identifier for that airport. For instance, Kilo Delta Charlie Alpha for Reagan, Kilo Lima Golf Alpha. Good luck finding those without controllers. Usually they are. That's a rarity there isn't. But it happens, and that's how you would be able to know what frequency to be on to transmit. It's no longer in VAT USA territory to be on 122.8, arriving and departing and taxiing at an airport, unless controllers are up. You find this pretty similar out over the pond in Europe, but in the case of when there's no controllers around, someone may come up, take over several centers under the call letters FSS or whatever they call themselves FSS, and below 24,000 you're on your own. Above it you have ATC. Kind of similar, but you can see where the major differences are. So again, it's just all about flying in new territories. Also, do not expect someone to come back and clear you for takeoff, landing, or taxis. You're on your own. You're just, instead of on 122.8, you're on this frequency to make your announcements. Now, it's a testing right now, but they are asking all pilots in these areas, VAT USA, to fly this way. Hey, we are getting up there, folks. We're at 23,000, headed for 32. It's going to be pretty much an up and down flight. We're going to go ahead because of that. I'd be curious if they would turn the seatbelt sign off like they did on us from St. Louis to Chicago. Of course, the guise is so you can use the restroom, folks, while they're in the air. Now, it's so the flight attendants can go through and liquor you up and take a lot of your money. I mean, so get that liquor sold. All right, well, kick back, relax, folks. It is a holiday weekend, even though it is Memorial Day, a big, remembrance day for those soldiers who have fallen, who gave it all, folks, for you to have those rights to what you claim are your rights in some cases. But anyway, they gave it all for that ability. All right, folks, let's take a look at this a little more in depth, what we're about to embark on into Washington. All right, so first we're going to see now I have no problems coming online. That's not fair to the controllers, so they were there. I just couldn't give them a solid internet connection. And it's not their fault. That's on me to be responsible enough not to connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect is what it would lead to. So that's why we chose. Flaps 30. We'll try it, see what it's like. Runway 19. Is the runway wet or dry? Let's find out. All right. Okay, so there is still lightning in the vicinity, northwest, thunderstorms to the north, moving east. Dun, dun, dun. It's still showing dry runways. Okay, cool. All right, VATSIM's pretty much following it. Cool. That's sometimes you never know what they're going to do. Winds 190 at 10.
Fast to go.
Temperature 7. Barometric pressure. Don't know. Let's find out. All right, it's 1004. $129.5 for the landing weight. All right, let's see what this is going to yield. A pretty much full length runway, 1,724 feet, VREF of 140. It's going to be fun, folks. Hope you enjoy as we just reached top climb. All right, let's real quick take a look at this because we're just about on to the Clipper. Copes, then MXE. Clipper going to come in over MXE, Nuggy, Troy's, Belay, Trish, Clipper at 12,000. So we're going to set 12,000 right now. We'll do it right after the move. Then Baltimore at 10, Eyes, Megs. I'm sorry, Eyes, Edwood, Megs. Continuing to Nays, but we're going to be turning onto the arrival. This is why you stay east of the Potomac. You're not allowed to fly over these, folks. Aren't they nice, just being right on the approach? Going to see them a little better here. All right, so 108.5, 147 for the final approach. BSC at 1,700, 707 feet AGL. Let's call it, well, actually, I can set that, so. Okay. There's our missed approach instructions, but here we go. Fergie. 108.5, 147's the localizer, if you will. And that's what we're going to be flying in. It's a, oh, this is a localizer. My bad. This is a displaced localizer, not in RNAV. And we'll put 111 in for Reagan as well. All right, you've seen the descent. Here's the angle. We're going to come in at 753 feet a minute or thereabouts. And we've gone through our minimums, 2 miles, and we need at least 7. Let's start at 700, hope for higher. Here's the weather ahead of us. All right, here we go. Okay, 12,000. Okay, altitude intervened, and we are starting down, folks. Come on down here. We need to set a couple frequencies up. All right, over here, let's put 1110. Over here, 108. First off, get the mode to ILS. 085. Okay, and any others showing up? No. And 332 we can set up in our in the ADF. Reason being, folks, because it says we can. All right. We're ready to come in here, folks. Hope y'all are having a great day. Hope y'all have been able to hang with us. Just doing a little check out here. See who we have hanging with us today. All right, well, I want to say thank you to all of you out there. Hawker on the moderation, playing the drums. And the rest of you out in the chat world. Hope you all are having a fantastic day and recharged for the upcoming work week. Clipper, where's Clipper? There's Nuggy, Troy's, Belay, Trish, then Clipper. All right, we're just wanting to make sure we're at the right profile here so we can get down to the right altitude, 3,000 feet by a beam from Fergie, so I can just keep it simple on this because it can get away from you pretty quick. Now, an LDA, folks, is different from an ILS. It is a localizer approach. So, if by chance we do get a glide slope, we'll be very cautious watching it, but we're going to be tracking the localizer. Now, if we were doing the RNIP, we would actually be literally following the river, and we may still do that for fun, keeping that as our backup. All right, so it looks like Clipper may be right on track. Next up will be Baltimore. Let me go ahead, dial that in. Hang 15. Okay, that should be showing there. Cool. All right, and then once we cross Baltimore, we'll set it in. But look at the storm centers waiting to hit DC. You can just get a glimmer of it here, folks. All right, so now for those of you curious, I think I posted it. Tomorrow's flight. I'm going to double check. Okay, if I can't see it here, I should. I do have the schedule up tomorrow. We're slated. Don't know if I want to give this away too much. We're going to Winnipeg in one of the default X-plane aircraft. The Citation 10. So I hope y'all join us around 11 o'clock Central Time, 1600, is it? Zulu? See my clock here. Yeah, 1600 Zulu. Citation 10 to Winnipeg. All right, we're starting to get into some of that rain. Actually, I'm now a little nervous. Okay, we're doing fine. Starting to think we may not be getting on Clipper at the right altitude. Okay, we're at transition. 19 minutes ago, 2966. Okay, here we go, folks. And we're in hyperspace. Chewie, pull us out of hyperspace. We got to try to make it into Reagan. Thank you. What do you mean we're not out of hyperspace yet? We're getting some lightning out here. All right, final approach course, folks, is 17. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are already sending seatbelt sign is on. If you happen to be up and about, please return your seat. Keep your seatbelt fastened for the remainder of the flight. On behalf of the flight crew, we appreciate you being with us today. Wish you a very safe and pleasant journey to your final destination. Hope to see you back here with us soon. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, it doesn't look all that great on the radar like it did earlier. The yellows are gone. But one little tip, folks, keep this heading bug pretty much on your route. So if you do run into a discontinuity or you've done something and it starts turning back, all you got to do is click the heading select. It'll come back and then figure out where you are so you can get the plane back on course. See it a lot, hear a lot. I don't know what my FMC is doing. More than likely, that's what it did. All right, Clipper in 1, so we're going for 10. Which happens to be Balmer. And then from Baltimore, it's to Eyes, then over to Edwood, Meggs. Then we begin to work our way over to Fergie. Okay, it's not wanting to descend. So we make it descend. And again, folks, oh Lord, look at this. Wow. Now, if that doesn't look like trouble ahead, I don't know what does. Okay, Baltimore, 13, just under 14 miles. And I am going to go ahead, take over speed.
Fasten to go.
Try and minimize that effect on some people. I know that kind of effect can send some people into seizures, so we'll kind of hold here. Drag required. Okay, coming up. All right. Oh, try our best here, folks. All right. So we've got some checks to do here. All right. Switches are still good. We're in 10,000, so the lights need to come on. Now you can see some of the yellows, reds over here. Terrain radar set up here, folks. For a second there, I was trying to figure out why are we crossing the localizer? Okay, we are not. Hey, Baltimore, go ahead, set us up for 5,000. My goal is no further than Edwood there, so I can begin the descent to 3,000 so I can turn at Megs for Fergie. That's my hope. Boy, we're sneaking in right before that. Kind of like cooking last night. We were grilling as that storm was crossing the river through the plains towards our house. Just as it was just about to roll through, we got done, went inside. The granddaughter was having a conniption, which, you know, those little couple of month olds will do that. And the storm hit. And I mean, it hit. Heavy winds. Um, just what you would expect. Might, big capital words with big air quotes on it. Might have watched a wall cloud rotating over us as it passed. Now, there is hints there might have been a tornado about 5-10 miles north and east of us, uh, in a small town before the lake that is right now in question. Could it be a bigger tornado? Um, yeah, it looked pretty good, folks. But there was nothing embedded in rain or anything like that. So, but you know, hence the reason the tornado warning. So, anyway, we got in, got ready to sit down, and bloom, lights went out. Ate in the dark, folks. Not 100% sure if the pork was cooked thoroughly. The corn, my wife said, was just a little bit uncooked. Well, you know, but that's not bad, folks. So we got the kind of situation here. It's moving. It's coming. You can kind of see it. All of these lovely clouds. We're gonna sneak in, hopefully, right ahead of it. All right. When we hit eyes, we're slowing to 210. I'm not liking our descent rate. Look at that. Oh, that's DC right there, folks. Better day, we might be able to make out things, but not today. the infamous Beltway. Dulles should be out over here somewhere.
1,000 to go.
All right, we are double checking everything. 30 minutes old, still 2996. Okay, here we go, folks. All right, lights are on, auto brakes. Let's get those set to 3. A lot of nastiness straight ahead, folks.
Thousand to go.
Ooh, that was a nice one. All right, it is time, folks. Heading select. Oh no, wait, let's push this one up. All right, folks, here we come. Like I said, remember, just an LDA. So just a localizer. Now it's displaced. It's not right where we're coming straight in because we come right over the monuments. That's the river we're going to be tracking down out there. So. Okay, let's get those spoilers armed. Right there's the river, folks. All right, now, Fergie down to 2,300 feet. See how we're just kind of tracking the river. Idle 2300, Bessie 17.
Thousand to go.
Okay, don't have the runway yet, but okay, we got it. Runway in sight. I highly recommend this approach to everyone out there who flies 737 Airbuses, 727s. I have so much fun on this approach. That bridge complex right ahead of us, that is the turn point, folks.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude set.
Approaching minimums. Minimum.
Here we come. And stabilized.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And welcome to Reagan National Airport, folks. One of the funnest approaches in my book. I think if you ever fly it, folks, you'll find it the same for me. Some may say I should have gone around, but overshooting happens, and we had her under control the whole time. That one didn't have. This one no longer gets me nervous. All right, we'll use the hold short to clean up here. All right. Radar's How'd you like that storm about to hit this place? My bad, I had them on steady the whole time. All right, we're gonna head on down here, park in the vicinity of E46 or D35 to E59, and we're gonna kind of watch the weather as it rumbles in. Now I have turned off the radar. Look at that. Oh. Okay, real quick, making sure we need state trim to what? 4 units. All right, I think we'll just head in here. One thing I wish they had better lighting here. Take this one right here. All right, folks, we're in the gate. Okay. APU is now on. Weather radars are off. State trim 4 units. Probe heat and engine ice off. Doggone, I didn't turn it on. Huh. Lucky me. Okay, okay, we can go down here. Shut the engines off. Oh, I thought I turned those off. Okay. There we go, folks, and welcome to Stormy National Airport. Hope y'all enjoyed. Let's take a look here, see what Mac Air rolled in on us. 165. Love it. Love it. Ending. Okay. Let me just poke my nose there. All right, so a nice landing by shown on Sim Toolkit. We have any landing? 176. No winners. Oh, well, that stinks. All right, well, it happens. All right, let's get over here to Sim Toolkit. What are you saying? Check it out. While the aircraft is unloading. Bear with me a second. Oh, excuse me. So the aircraft, oh man, this lightning is really awesome. We'll get this done quick so you all can see it. Bear with me, cleaning up still. All right. Some toolkits up here. You can see 176. We'll finish the flight. Okay. Here we go. 176. That's what it looked like. Close to what I wanted it to do. View the details. It was a short flight, folks. 1 hour in length. 186 miles. 2,000 kilograms, 1.19 G's at 176. Little slow. We were aiming for 140, got 133. Here's the full report. Okay, again, you're coming down here and you're beginning your turn for the runway. I will not be, yeah, you would be coming straight down because there's a monument there. Some of you have said, well, you got all that room. No, you got monuments all throughout here, folks. This is all restricted. Okay. So you come down, you shoot the approach just like that when we overshot. Excuse me, folks. But anyway, and then you land here. Of course, your aiming points here. There's your pappies. I'd be interested to know if that's your visual guidance for the approach. Anyway, so we landed 1,700 feet down the runway, just less than a foot off the center line. Folks, that's about as good as you can get without being on the center line. 133, we know, 176, and then here's the rest of the metrics. 7,100 foot runway. We're parked probably like right here. U.S. Airways, if memory served, this was theirs. I think this was new. Guys that are in the D.C. area, let me know. But I think this was U.S. Airways, and this was the turboprops. But again, never actually flown in and out. I would love to fly in and out of here. Oh, it's on my bucket list. I know y'all are saying he's weird. I get it. All right, so let's let y'all see a little bit out here. Storm front moving in. I think there's gonna be a storm. Look at that, folks. course, now we don't get lightning. All right, let's see. Oh, there. Oh, and the color does look better. Would love to hear the thunder. I have heard thunder before, folks. Must be too far off. The thunder rolls. All right, folks, let's see if it will let us roll the tape back. I'm a little hesitant to say I don't think so, folks. I'm okay. It's just inching along. Okay. Oh, and we were off course, folks. No, right there. Jefferson Memorial, I believe. See, I was even over the not allowed to land area. Yeah, you need to be more in here, folks. The reason being the jet noise. All right, there's our runway. Here we go. See, I should have already been turning. Oh, we're gonna grass land it. Grass landing, folks. Not bad for a grass landing. You know what? Let's take it back a little bit. Wants it to land on the grass so bad. Hey, at least you know, folks, we're watching it do its landing. Oop, a little further out. You're at least getting to see it, folks. I mean, unlike sometimes when it... Heavy movement on the wing there, but... There we go, folks. Welcome into Reagan National. Alright, let's roll it back one more time. Let's take a look right out the cockpit. About right here. Nice. And we're going to take a look at that tower view, folks. That ought to be pretty cool. We'll also start it about right here. Actually, a little further back. Look at that, folks. Welcome to Washington, D.C. Beautiful landing. Oh, gotta love it, folks. Well, you know what, folks? That's going to be a wrap for tonight. Was thinking about a second flight, but looking at the clock, I'm going to balk and say I think we're going to call it here at Reagan. But, folks, you know, that was a fun flight. Out of LaGuardia, La Garbage Can, down to Reagan. I really hope y'all enjoyed. Uh-oh. Oh, there it goes. Let's go ahead, bring it out, put it back in the spot. Get those chocks on. And call it a night, folks. Back air, special livery, in at Reagan for Cactus. We hope you enjoyed, folks. Tomorrow we'll hope to be on at 11 o'clock Central, which equates to 1600 Zulu for those of you in all the different time zones. But for now, folks, again, happy Memorial Day, and really hope you took time to remember those, gave it all so you could have the rights in this country that you so freely use and abuse in some cases. So I really hope y'all took some time out to remember that. All right, so I hope you all have a great night. God bless you all. What a way to end it. Perfect lightning shot. Thank you, Lord. Folks, y'all have a great night. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow. Oh, wait. Losing my followers. Oh, no.